Everybody, welcome back to the next section in your onboarding presentation. Again, my name is Joya. I am the owner and director of the Learning Voyage Student Success Center. Right now, we're getting ready to move into a phase that, believe it or not, I have already recorded, right? Let me tell y'all a funny thing. I went through this whole thing. I recorded. I went back to make sure it was good enough for you guys. And I realized that I was just talking. You couldn't see the presentation. So here I am talking to myself all over again. But it's okay. I want you guys to get the information. I want you to have the audio and the visual so that I can address both learning styles. Let's do it. So just a little overview before we jump into it. All daycares are governed by a entity called Georgia Department of Early Care and Learning. However, whenever we address them, we always call them right from the start. They have a set of rules that we must follow. They wrote the rules and we have to implement the rules. So what happens is, although I am the owner of the Learning Voyage, I must follow these rules in order for us to stay compliant and keep our licensing and keep everything the way that it should be. And we call those rules core rules. This governing body pops up at the facility 3 times a year. We don't know when they're coming. It's just random times. And these are the things that they are looking for when they visit our school. When you're in the diapering area, in the diapering classroom, please think of the diapering area as a bathroom. You want to not prepare any food in your personal bathroom. So you don't want to prepare any food on the changing table, which is the bathroom of the children. And the same thing go for the sink that's in the diapering area. So that sink is only for hand washing. It is not for rinsing out cups, bottles, water for them to drink, etc. It's strictly for hand washing. They also observe diaper changing systems and make sure that you know proper diapering procedures. And they will watch you or ask you those procedures. And in your next sections to come, we will actually teach you those proper diaper changing procedures. Just so you can see the visual, it says 6 steps, but within those 6 steps, it's a whole bunch of steps in between. So I'm not going to read this to you because it can be overwhelming. I feel like it'll be better if I kind of demonstrate it and talk about it versus reading about it. They watch our hand washing procedures. They want to make sure that we're washing our hands once we arrive to work and go into the classrooms, that we wash the kids' hands upon them entering the classrooms, after toileting for children, before and after diaper changes for teachers, and after diaper changes for the kids when they come inside from outside, before they eat their food, before you serve the food, if you touch garbage, just periodically throughout the day, we wash our hands and the kids' hands. And I know I say periodically, but really it's like all day. So the way to properly wash your hands is you turn the water on and you rinse your hands. You get them wet. Then you get you some soap and you lather your hand for about 20 to 26 seconds. The best way to do this is while you're lathering your hands front, back, in between, getting to those long fingernails. If you have long fingernails like Miss Joya, it's saying ABCs or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And we teach the same thing to the kids. So we're lathering our hands. I'm almost at my 26 seconds. Okay. Now it is time to rinse our hands. And so we rinse everything off. We get a paper towel. We dry our hands. And then we turn the faucet off with the paper towel. It is very redundant if you wash your hands and then you physically touch the trash can with your hands. So make sure you use your foot to open up the trash can. It's a pedal. Step on the pedal, trash can pop open, and you throw away the paper towel. These hand washing procedures are posted in the classroom so that if you forget the hand washing procedures, you can always reference the posted notices by every sink in the school building. Disciplinary measure. When right from the start come, they will check our methods of discipline. They will ask teachers, how do you discipline? And we give them one word, and the one word is redirection. We have to only do that one word because according to the state, disciplinary should never, and that's a discipline. But discipline should never be detrimental to the physical or mental health of the children. I can read all these things on the side telling you what not to do, but the one thing that's easier to remember is what to do. What to do? You redirect the children. What does it mean to redirect? You take the children from the issue and put them somewhere else to eliminate the issue. So if they're having issues in the block area, then you will take them to the science area or the math area or the library. If they're having issue with one group of children, then you will take them and put them with another group of children. But what you don't want to do is put them in timeout, make them face the wall, do behavior charts, rough handle the children, be verbally or physically abusive to my children, use restraints like a high chair. Like if a child is misbehaving, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to put you in a high chair so you can't reach anyone else. You don't want to hold back their meals, telling them, well, if you don't listen, you won't get your food. And you don't want to force naps. So you feel like they're not behaving appropriately. And you're like, well, you got to go to bed because you're not listening. The only thing that we're able to do is redirect the children. Fair enough? Fair enough. Physical plant. Physical plant is your responsibility to make sure that the environment is safe at all times. So when you think about physical plant, you're thinking about the environment inside of the school and outside of the school. I can read all these things on the side, but in short, basically what you're doing is making sure that nothing is accessible to the children unless it was created for them or intended for them to use. So looking at the list to the side, the brooms and dustpans aren't for children use, it's just for teachers. The mop and the mop water, toothpaste, plastic bags, book bags, office supplies, aerosols, cleaning supplies, chip paint, and anything else, right? It's not just limited to these things. So pretty much mop water could be a drowning hazard if a 1-year-old fall in it or get a head stuck in it, they can't pull it out. Toothpaste, if you consume a lot of it, it could be toxic. Plastic bag can be a suffocation hazard. Do we use plastic bags? Absolutely, 100% we do. But what we do is we put the plastic bags with their dirty clothes inside their cubby, and we don't hang them from the bottom of their cubbies. We do not allow book bags in the building at all because the school is responsible for what's inside those bags. And we don't have the time in the day to go through each individual bag. Therefore, we just don't allow bags in the facility. And the same thing for the teachers. When you guys bring your bags inside of the facility, state can check it. So make sure your bag is always locked away, tucked away, put away, because I would hate for us to be cited because you have medication or tweezers or fingernail clippers inside of your personal bags. When it says aerosol cans, this is your air freshener, your Lysol, Glade plug-ins, etc. Those items are not intended for the uses of the children and should never be in reach of the children. And the same thing goes for outdoors. So the outside space is still your responsibility. You make sure that you let a member of administration know immediately if you notice roots, limbs, vines growing up the fence or into the playground space. I don't know why a mop would be outside, but if a mop is outside, let us know. Brooms cannot be accessible to the children. Standing water is water that was not intended to be there. So let's just say it rained one day and a lot of water went into a sand bucket. Well, that's not what its intended use is. It can be a drowning hazard, and standing water also can bring in bugs, mosquitoes, gnats, and as you can see, under standing water, it says insects. So we can't even have insects outside, and that's where they live, right? So it's hard enough with keeping the exterminator on call to kind of keep down ant hills, wasps, beehives, those big old gyro spiders that we had issues with everywhere. So the standing water kind of draw in some of those bugs. Even though we're outside, we want to eliminate the bugs getting a hold to our children. You want to make sure that the tools and equipment outside is fine. That include the fence. Nothing's on the fence, hanging on the fence, tied to the fence not broken, no toys outside broken. Literally, it is your responsibility as the teachers and leaders of your classrooms to make sure that outdoor play space is safe for the children. And if it is not safe for the children, it is your job to let administration know. As far as medication, ladies and gentlemen, we do not offer medication. This was a real quick and easy slide. Safe sleep. Any sheet or bedding must be properly fitted to whatever is going on. So for an infant crib, it must be properly fitted and tight fitted with no slack. Same thing for the cots. If you have a short cot, then you need a short sheet. If you have a long cot, then you need a long sheet. We can't have a long sheet on a short cot. Those items are suffocation hazards. You must also follow your wash schedule. This is important because our infant room wash every day. And our toddler and pre-K and preschool classes, they wash once a week. So we have to stay on our schedule and make sure these get done. No objects should be in the cribs at all times, and all babies are laid on their back. We have to label those cribs with the child name and date of birth and a sentence that says, I can roll if they can roll. Therefore, if state come and that child is sleeping on their stomachs, then state know that that child rolled over on his or her own. The cots can keep the sheets on all week as long as those cots are labeled. We do not want to be nasty and give the kids different cots every day and they're all sharing the same sheet. That is disgusting. So as the leaders of your classroom, it is your responsibility to make sure that the cots stay labeled or the cribs stay labeled with the children's information on it. Ratios. These are your ratios. Please, 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 please never be out of ratio. If you find yourself out of ratio, please use your walkie-talkie and let administration know as soon as possible so that we can fix it. We are not that type of school. I don't want to leave anybody out of ratio. I do my absolute best to make sure that we run the school in 100% compliance. So please let us know. I don't want you to work no harder than you have to. Our work is fun, but it is hard. So I don't ever want you to be out of ratio. I am here for you. So let us know, okay? We can only mix the children for the first hour and the last hour of the day. So please don't get creative and start trying to mix the kids because there's certain rules around that. If administration does it, then it's okay because they know the rules around it. But just for your information's sake, 3 and up can never be mixed with the younger kids, only the first hour and the last hour of the day. And when the kids are mixed, the ratio is the ratio of the younger kid. So if it's one infant but 5 3-year-olds, excuse me, you go with the ratio of the infant. Supervision, supervision, supervision. Supervision is keeping your eyeballs on those children all times, all day, right? So what is lack of supervision? We would get cited for a lack of supervision. So that lack of supervision is when you turn your back to the children to talk to another teacher in the classroom because you're not watching the kids. It's when you open up your door and put something in the hallway, a child fall off a shelf, and then you weren't able to kind of jump in the issue and help because you were in the hallway doing, whatever you may be doing. Not knowing how many kids in your class is a lack of supervision because a kid could have ran away and you don't know because you don't even know how many kids are in your care. So always know how many kids are in your classroom. Watching 2 classes at once is lack of supervision. Not having the children within your arm's reach during meals is a lack of supervision. An incident happening and we review and see that you were on your phone or you were talking or you were in your classroom, that will fall under lack of supervision. If a child is missing or have left your care, that is lack of supervision. If you're not walking your classrooms during nap times, that is lack of supervision. And not watching children at all times, that is a lack of supervision. So the best way to make sure that we're not cited for lack of supervision is just make sure that you're walking around and you're being very vigilant and you know the kids that's in your classroom and you're watching to make sure that they're safe. Fair enough? I'm going to assume you guys said fair enough. So we are moving into the next phase of this presentation. This phase is very, very fast because it's kind of repetitive of what we just went over. So grab you a drink of water, get you something to eat, come back and move on to the next course. And if you have any questions for me, email me. My email address is, where's my email address? The Learning Voyage at gmail.com. The Learning Voyage at gmail.com. I am so excited to have you. Welcome to the Learning Voyage. I know you probably never done anything like this working in a daycare. I am very excited to be able to show my face so that you know who you're working for. I'm also excited to kind of share my expectations with you. I see you in the next course.